Hello everybody. Today we're going to take a look at the Razer Mamba Gaming Mouse. Now, the one on the right here is the 2016 version, which as of the time of this video in 2018 is still the current version. It is not the first version of the Razer Mamba or the first mouse to carry the Mamba name. On the left here is a mouse that I got, I believe, in 2011. It's been a great mouse, and I believe that Razer Mamba came out in 2009. But for the purposes of this video, we're going to take a look at the 2016 Razer Mamba Gaming Mouse. We're going to talk a little bit about features, capability. I'm going to compare the two just because I have both and have a lot of experience with the first one. So let's do it, and let's get started. Alright, so the first thing I want to go to is anytime that you come out with a product that has the same name and is a second generation or a further generation, I'm going to compare it to previous versions. And this is certainly no exception in this case with the Razer Mamba. On the left, with the flashing blue or throbbing blue, is the original. And so most of my comparison is going to be based on my longtime friend, which I've had for quite a few years, the original Razer Mamba. So just to start with, you'll notice the bling factor is a lot higher on the new Razer Mamba here. You can see it change in colors. It does work with both Mac and PC. Razer specifically says the compatibility requirements are Windows 10, Windows 8, Windows 7, and Mac OS 10 versions 10.8 through 10.11. I'm sure that'll be updated as future versions of both those OSs come out, but for now that's what you're looking at. You can control the lighting and the personality, if you will, of both the mouse itself along the sides and the wheel and the charging base through what Razer calls their Chroma app, and I'll give you a look at that later in this video. But you can sort of set the lighting almost in a manner similar to the hue lighting in your home in terms of moods and current activities. You can trigger it to react to separate apps and do various things while you're gaming. Now, Razer says that this mouse is a 16,000 DPI, that's dots per inch, sensitivity. The original Razer Mamba had a sensitivity of 5,600, so quite a bit of difference there. Of course, technology has come quite a long way in the past 5 or 6 years, and so the new mouse is a lot more sensitive. When I opened the new mouse, the first thing that I went for and the first thing that I noticed was that the battery pack on the new Mamba is not interchangeable. You cannot replace this battery, at least not that I've figured out, and probably not in a way that Razer wants you to. There are no exposed screws to do so, and there are no removable panels. That's a huge disappointment. And when I compared it to the original, you can see here that I've got in my hand, I've got a way to get in there and replace the battery, and it's just a small battery pack. This has allowed me to keep this mouse in action as my go-to mouse for quite a few years, and without that you're going to be limited to whatever the life expectancy of that battery, of that internal battery is, and the fact that it is not interchangeable says the life of that mouse is pretty much limited to however many charge cycles you're going to get out of that battery. Now, Razer says on their website that, let me see if I can find it here, life expectancy of the battery depends upon its usage, right? So it's going to depend on how many charge cycles you put it through and those types of things. So compared to the original mouse here, you can see that most of the button setups are in the same place. There is one significant difference, and that is these two buttons on the top, which are customizable. The original location was here, next to your right index finger. And it is worth mentioning, by the way, that both of these mice are specifically configured for right-handed use. If you happen to be left-handed, you're out of luck, especially if you're looking for a left-handed mouse. There just doesn't seem to be a way to configure this guy to work in a left-handed configuration. Other buttons are in the same locations. You can see these two side buttons. Of course, the wheel has similar features. It is both a click wheel and a scroll wheel. That's true on both. On the bottom, we have an on-off button on both, where you can literally turn the mouse on and off. We have our charging contacts, which are in the same location. We have an eject button on the old one, which will allow you to eject the cable. Both of these mice can be used in a cabled or a wireless mode. We do not have that eject button on the new mouse, so it's just a matter of forcefully plugging and unplugging the mouse from that cable, and I found that it's not an easy process. So here I've got the new Mamba in my hand, I've got the cable connected, and it is usable. It will charge your battery while you are using the mouse, which is a nice feature that they both have. But trying to get this cable out, so I'll turn the mouse off just so I don't crazy click on my screen. It's not a very slick process. There's not an easy way to grab the connector. You've got to pull it out by the cord, which is not ideal. And it's a pretty tight fit. Not impressed with that. The cables are not interchangeable, in case you were wondering. So if you've got the original Mamba and you want to use that cable, you're out of luck. You must use the new cable. The old cable will not work with the new Mamba. Other features on the new Mamba, you'll notice that there are a couple adjustable holes here, and it comes with a customized tool that can be used in those holes. It's essentially a modified hex tool, it looks like, or it might actually be just a small handheld hex tool. Razer refers to this as adjustable click force. And what that basically means is that you can adjust the click sensitivity of the two finger click surfaces in terms of how hard or how soft you want to click before the computer responds to that click. Let's be honest, the first thing that's going to happen is this tool is going to get thrown in a drawer somewhere and lost. It does look like you can use a regular hex tool, so you might be in good shape there. This mouse is quite a bit lighter than the original mouse. From a feel standpoint, the feel of the new mouse is, it just doesn't feel as nice. It doesn't feel as beefy or as sturdy. You know, it's definitely the winner on the bling category. It's much prettier to look at. I get it. That's cool while you're gaming. But it feels cheaper. I believe the surface material is the same, so we've got a consistency there. But beyond that, the internals are obviously different, and the new one just feels plasticky. Certainly for the price point, which is close to $150 on Amazon, I'm a little let down in, it seems like, the quality build of this mouse. So from a performance standpoint, the mouse has done okay for me. I've only been using it a couple days. But there are a lot of complaints online about loss of tracking, where you'll just have minutes where the mouse will move and respond with lights, but you will lose the track capability of the laser on the bottom. Now, supposedly some firmware updates and software updates have fixed that. I have not experienced that personally, so I can't verify that. But I will say that it is something that more than a few people have pointed to in terms of quality of the product here. The product number on this mouse is the RZ, like Zebra 01. Model number is an RC30. There are several different versions of this mouse, one of which is a tournament edition. We'll get into that a little bit later. So by the numbers on the new Razer Mamba, the tech specs are 16,000 DPI 5G laser sensor. Razer says that translates to up to 210 inches per second. It does have acceleration. The adjustable click force technology, which is essentially a marketing term for the click sensitivity of the mouse. We talked about that a little bit earlier in this review. It is a gaming grade mouse. I would certainly expect anything at this price point, and certainly anything coming from Razer, to be gaming grade. Almost a non-issue, but just in case you didn't know, Razer is a gaming hardware company. Everything that it comes from them is going to be geared towards gamers. They say it's a 1 millisecond or less response time on the mouse. Chroma lighting with true 6.8 million customizable color options. That's probably the coolest thing this mouse has going for it. The chroma is a nice feature. I am a fan. You can see that I've got this mouse sitting on a Razer Chroma mouse pad. It's a very large pad, but I do like where they're going with the whole chroma thing, and it does add a nice way to customize your PC. You can sync those colors up, or you can keep them independent. You can make them do different things at different times. For example, they can show charge level. They can show alerts and reflect different alerts by different colors on the device. And there are 9 buttons that are independently programmable on the mouse. It does have a tilt-click scroll wheel. It does have a charging dock. Now, it's worth mentioning that the tournament edition version of this mouse does not come with the charging dock. So the main difference there, it's the same mouse, but you don't get the charging dock with the tournament edition. You can still charge it with the cable, you just don't have a nice way to dock it. Folks, if you're going to buy this mouse, get the dock, because plugging that cable in and out is a real pain, and honestly, it's going to break. With the amount of force it takes to yank that cable out, I wouldn't expect it to last. The cable is 2.1 meters or 7 feet. The approximate weight is 125 grams, which comes out to just about a quarter pound. It's not too heavy as mice go. It feels good. I don't like the quality of the build, but I don't have a problem with the weight. We do not have an interchangeable battery, so once your battery goes dead, you might as well throw the mouse away. So in closing, I really feel let down by Razer on this one. I've been a longtime fan of their products. I would expect future generations of a product to be superior to the original, and that just isn't the case here. In almost every way, the original mouse, in terms of build quality, in terms of feel, in terms of features, is better. Where the new mouse has it beat is the bling effect, the lighting, and also technically, from a sensitivity standpoint, you've got a much better laser in the new one. I have never been in a situation where the original mouse at 5,600 dots per inch did not do the job for me. I do game quite a bit, but you may have higher needs than that. Certainly with higher resolution in today's 4K monitors, you're going to want a little bit more sensitivity in a mouse, and so it does win there. But in general, I am quite disappointed in the product quality of this new Razer, and I just can't recommend it. Just can't give this one a thumbs up, Razer. You guys have kind of failed me, particularly on the interchangeable battery. $150 mouse should be something that I get more than a year or two of life out of, should I choose to. And I'm just not able to do that with the battery configuration you've got. For that reason, from the beginning, I've been disappointed in this mouse. If you liked what you see, please give us a thumbs up. That really helps a lot. Also, you can thank us by supporting us on Patreon. You'll find the link below. And subscribing for other videos that we've got. And as always, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.